Welcome to Soccer Gaming, and welcome to the channel where you can learn some tips and tricks as well as guides and tutorials on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. As always, the content will help you become a better Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 player, and in today's episode we are going to go over the top 10 tips, and I just want to cover 10 tips that I've learned already in playing Call of Duty so that you can know these tips starting out and hopefully help you guys in your gameplay. So if you'd like to watch that, stick around. So I'm going to go through these 10 tips pretty quick. I'm not going to do a lot of explaining necessarily. This isn't going to be a long video. I just want to get my tips out there. That way you can kind of go ahead and put these tips into your own gameplay and raise that kill death. The first thing is the gunsmithing. Understand it a little bit, kind of know what you want to do, and I think the three main things to go for in the gunsmithing when trying to upgrade your weapon is the ADS, which is the aim down sight. The faster you aim down sight, the faster you can get those bullets flying down range. The next one is going to be your sprint fire, and that's going to be as you're running, you kind of have that freedom, and that kind of goes along with the ADS as well. And then the third thing is range, because bullet drop off as far as damage goes is huge, especially on like SMGs or whatever. The farther they are away, the less damage they're doing. So it's not necessarily about putting so many rounds down range. It's almost like the closer the better, and if you can't get that close, you want that extra range added to guns like that. That way you can use less ammo and it can still do some damage far down range. The second is knowing the perk packages and understanding what you really want. Now, early on, you kind of use whatever they have built out because you don't have a lot of them unlocked. But as you're going through, make sure that you're kind of unlocking them. Once you unlock them, kind of make your own perk packages, because you can really use them to cater to how you play. So if you're a player that kind of sits back and likes to camp, you're going to want the ghost and the stuff like that. You're going to want to be invisible on radar, invisible on thermals, all of that good stuff. So that's stuff you need to know going into it. If you're going to be a guy running around with an SMG or a shotgun or even, whatever, if you're going to be running around and kind of sprinting into bases and stuff, you're going to want to have the perks that allow you to best utilize that. And I will eventually do a video breaking down the perks and what type of play style you want to play with will be dependent on what kind of perks you have, but I'm not going to go over that all in this video because a lot of perks and a lot of that stuff will come later. The next thing is the kill streaks or the score streaks. You can flip it from kill streaks or score streaks on the menu for the kill streaks tab, so you can switch it back and forth. And what I've found is if you're going to be doing a lot of killing, then make sure you're doing the kill streaks, because I think it's like 4 to a UAV. If you do the score, I believe it's 500 to get to the UAV, but I've noticed when you're doing them, like say if you're doing domination and you capture C, you get 100 points, but only 50 of that goes towards the actual score streak. So I've noticed a little bit that the score streak kind of struggles, and I'm not sure 100% how they take into XP into account, but you don't get the full XP. So I don't think you're gonna jump in there, kill 4 guys and then boom, or 3 guys and then boom, have a UAV. You got to do a little bit more than that, and I've noticed that I actually go on more kill streaks doing the actual kill streak itself rather than the points. The other thing to kind of point out, the points reset when you die, so don't think you're just going to continue to add on when it comes to the points. Once you die, the points reset just like your kills and your kill streaks. Number 4 tip is the weapon selections, and kind of use the weapons as you're getting into the game. Find out what you like, and honestly, if you're good with it, then stick with it. Don't try to deviate on metas and stuff like that. But if you're a meta player and you're wondering, well, what is so good? The assault rifles are definitely the most dominant. We're looking at M4s, stuff like that. They are, to me, the most dominant in the game. You can kind of use an AR. The reason it's so good, you can use it for long range battles, you can use it for short range, you can use it running around, it's got mid range, whereas the other ones like the sniper rifles, you can't use that up close. SMGs you can't use far away, your bullets won't reach down range. The AR kind of does it all, and it allows you to kind of manipulate your play style and do a lot better on your play style. The SMGs are decent up close if you're looking to run up close. The SMG is the way to go. The shotgun, I feel like, is a little spotty on hit markers, so you kind of got to be careful with the shotgun. If you're really good with one, then for sure use it, but it's a little shoddy, pun intended. It's a little shoddy when it comes to the hitbox and stuff on the shotguns, so you're really gonna kind of understand the shotguns to make them worth it. But if you're up close and personal, the SMGs are kind of where to go. And the last thing about the weapon selection is learn the recoil for the weapons you like. So if you like the M4, if you like using it, go into training, shoot the dummies, just hold down or press right trigger, whatever, and just watch where recoil goes. Because if you can learn to counter the recoil, you can become very, very deadly, because then you're staying in one spot and not doing the recoil. So definitely test out the guns you like and try to learn the recoil on them. If you don't really want to learn recoil, usually if you drag down on your mouse, or if you drag down with your thumbstick as you're shooting, usually that counters most of the recoil. But if you're wanting to be a dead shot and not miss anything, then definitely learn the recoil for the weapon you like. Number 5 is, if you can, play with friends and learn callouts. Having extra people in your party automatically gives you a boost, gives you kind of upgrade on your gameplay, because then if you got Charlie over here dies a C and says, hey, there's a guy in the back of C sniping, then you instantly know exactly where a guy is at that instant, and so you can kind of do better. And as a team, you definitely play better, and you guys do better because you're doing the call outs like, hey, there's a guy ran through B, he's going to C on the right side. Then boom, you know, hey, on the right side there's going to be a guy running around the corner. And that's stuff that you're just not given if you're just in a party by yourself, or if you're even not partied up in voice chat or whatever. You're not going to have that information relayed, and you're not going to be able to make great decision. So definitely, if you have the chance, play with friends and learn call outs, as far as like even just, hey, they're on B, they're on C, hey, they're on the far right side, stuff like that. You don't have to actually fully learn that, hey, they're in the bay, or hey, whatever. You can if you really want to get good at it, because then you can really call out exactly where they're at. But just learn call outs and play with friends will definitely help boost that kill death. Number 6 is use the mini map efficiently. Now, you might be like, what do you mean? I look at the mini map all the time. But using the mini map efficiently is different than using just mini maps. So what I mean by using it efficiently is understand where at on the map they are, as well as where they could possibly be going. So if you're like looking and you see a dot, you see the red dots when we got a UAV up or whatever, and you see the dot is moving straight towards you or whatever, then you need to know, hey, buckle down, he's coming right to you, something like that. Don't be running out and trying to find him. You know, use their momentum to your advantage, because you need to kind of use the mini map in that way. You can also use the mini map in learning where your players are and where the enemy is. So if you don't have UAV out, if you see just a bunch of blue guys on your mini map that are, say you're playing domination and you're at A and all your teammates are at C, chances are you're going to have some enemies right next to you at A, because all of your team spawned on the other side. So again, use the mini map efficiently will definitely help you make better decisions and raise that kill death. Number 7 is important when it comes to this game, and I feel like this game more than any Call of Duty before, and that's being ready for a gun fight. You're going to need to, 1, pre-aim. You're going to have your weapon ready to fire, and then knowing your jumps, your dives, your whatever, all of that stuff is important, and just kind of knowing how to enter gun battles and knowing how to shoot in gun battles. So for me, I shoot better when I'm crouched. I also can, basically when I'm running at someone and I'm getting attacked, I don't jump, I dive. And that's just because I've over the years gotten used to what the recoil pattern is when I go on the ground, so it actually benefits me to dive on the ground because I know the recoil, whereas the person I am fighting against might not be ready for me to dive on the ground and show a lower hitbox. Same thing with this game. You have to pre-aim kind of going around corners, otherwise you're going to get stomped, or you just kind of got to know where people are, because at this point in this game, the aim down sight is, to me, kind of slow compared to other games. Everyone is pre-aiming, everyone's looking and kind of, I wouldn't say camping, but they're definitely looking at certain places on the map and kind of just staring and ready for you to run through a doorway or a hallway or whatever. So you really need to make sure you're pre-aiming as well to try to give yourself the best shot at getting someone. Number 8 is knowing the power positions based on game type and map, and that means, like in big team game, the top of buildings are usually where people are going to be sitting, and whether they get it there from a helicopter, whether they get there from spawning on their friends, whether they get there by just climbing the building, you have to know that people are going to be on top of the buildings in big team games. So you know kind of, hey, there's probably people on top of buildings, so before I'm just running around in the field, I need to look up top of the buildings and see if anybody's there. The other thing is like knowing where people like to be. Now, there's a big group of, well, how do I play a certain game type on a certain map? But you should know, hey, on domination where there's an A, B, and C, B is going to be usually contested more than the A and C positions. A and C positions are going to be more or less spawns. So you know, well, if we have A, they have C, they're spawning at C most likely. Now, once we start taking C, we might flip and they go to A, but just knowing that stuff is definitely going to help you, and knowing the power positions on the map itself. So if there's a great spot on a certain map to guarding A, if you're going to go cap A, know where the best spots are to camp A. If you're defending it, that will help you kill the people when trying to take it over on the offensive side. Number 9 is learning game types and find what works for you and your play style. There are a ton of game types that you could play on this. There's just even more than just the quick play options. There's invasion. There's all that stuff as well. And you want to learn what you're kind of good at and what your style is, and then finding the game type that you enjoy playing and also kind of fits your play style. So if you're more of like, hey, I like to just chill in a corner, kill people as they run by, kill death might be your game type because it's more of a slow down and there's no general direction besides just killing people. Now, if you're more of like a, hey, I want to run around, I want a bunch of action, you know, hard point, domination, that type of stuff might be your jam. If you're wondering, hey, I just want to be super strategic, I want to go in there, one kill, one death type of thing, search and destroy is your game type. So knowing your game type and what kind of works for you will definitely help, one, boost that kill death, but also make you a better player at whatever game type you want to play. And then number 10 is you need to learn from your battles. Don't aimlessly do things over and over again. Try to learn from your mistakes and learn patterns in gameplay to help yourself later on. So what I mean by that is if you have people that are camping on domination on the C point, then you know, like, hey, they're camping C, so if I want to go to C or if I want kills, then I know that, hey, there's like 2 or 3 guys camping on C, so you're going to be more kind of looking around corners, looking over here, looking over there, trying to find the guys. Now, if you have people that, you know, are just running around acting willy-nilly, or hey, they're trying to take B all the time, then post up at B and get some points, get some kills, because you know they're going to come there. And basically, if you die once from a guy's running through B, then you know, hey, they're coming to B, so like find a spot I like, stay there, get some kills. Other things are like if someone likes to dive while shooting or hop, be ready for the dive, be ready for the hop. No, hey, most of these guys in this game really like the hop, so you should know when you're firing on them, they're going to hop. You should know that going into it, and you can kind of make adjustments there as well. And then the last thing kind of with this is if a sniper likes a building, or even in general, anybody that's camping a building, if they do end up dying, look there more often, because if they're having success in that position or in that building, they're going to go back to it, which means you can have another free killing, especially snipers in general. You get a sniper on a building, they get a couple of kills, they're going to probably go to that building the rest of the game, or at least until you kill them like 5 times, and then they'll be like, well, I guess I got to find another building. But just knowing that going in there, or knowing, hey, when I'm playing hardpoint and it's this hardpoint, they always camp up here, then you know that and learn from it. I mean, they kill you once and you're like, oh, okay, that's a good spot for them, they like it. Then next time the hard point is on that point, you could go ahead and take advantage of that, what you learn, and use it against them. So the biggest thing in this is learn from the battles. Don't just constantly go into the hard point, try to get points. Learn, every time I go in there, they shoot me from this side, so next time I try to go in there, I should look to this side, because that's going to help me defeat my opponent. I hope these 10 tips were helpful. I'm going to do another couple videos of this as time goes on. These are kind of my initial 10 tips for being better at Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. If you guys have any questions, comment them down below. I read every single comment on every single video, and I will do my best to answer those questions for you. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Also, feel free to hit that red subscribe button, because we have plenty more Modern Warfare 2 content coming out very soon. Till next time. Slacker out.